People's
Welcome
daddy.
to episode 336 of the Working Fans Podcast. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Check us out over on patreon.com/workingfanspodcast. And if you're going to be out in the Ledyard area tomorrow night, we have OWR is putting on Lucky Days, and this is a stacked card. Some of these matches rolled over from what was going to be their event earlier this year. The big match, the match that's getting you in the door, Jeremy Lacroix, Peter Gianni, ladder match for that I-91 championship. If you are in the Connecticut area, if you are friends of ours, you are going to want to see this match. These two are insane in the ring. They've had great matches already, and this is going to be no different. I think the Chef is walking away with the title. Not to take anything away from Jeremy Lacroix, but I feel like it's the Chef's time to cook.
Hey, and I know one of the matches on here, ECW legend Jason is going to be taking on Lights Out Lou Jacobs.
That's going to be huge. You've got Zenith Zion versus Nashinoba Wolfeye. Probably fucked that name up. Should have left it to Dave. For the Women's Platinum Championship. You've got Dustin Waller, teammate of Kylon King, who you've seen on this show, stepping into the ring with Anthony Gangone, and I can't read that other guy's name. It's too small in my eyes. So every one of these matches you're going to want to see. Soda Hendricks versus Sunset Steve Garcia, a guy I haven't seen in a while. This guy wrestled a lot in XWA. Vinny Pacifico stepping into the ring with Fox Vineyard. If you're a wrestler in the Connecticut area, Brian Malonis is going to be doing a seminar. This guy has been in ROH. This guy has had a podcast in wrestling, the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with Mike Crockett. Huge opportunity for anybody in the area to learn from the best. And then OWR champion Steve Off is going to be there. You know who else is going to be there? The Working Fans Podcast. We could not be more excited for this. Let's go into it, because with WrestleMania coming up, I've been thinking WrestleMania is all about the storylines that go into the event.
Yes.
So what are some of your favorite storylines going into WrestleMania that have gotten you hooked the most?
Well, I mean, CM Punk and Roman Reigns is obviously right now what everybody's kind of, I think, buzzing about. They had a good promo exchange this week on Raw. Was a little interesting. I thought Punk might be going heel. They had a little back and forth at the end of it. He said a line where, "I'm going to bury you, Roman, right next to your dead father." And I thought, all right, that's a dark turn. You know, where did that come from? There's some memes out there where Christian Cage is laughing too, by the way. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I mean, that's one I'm looking forward to. The two women's matches they seem to be setting up. Rhea Ripley and Jade. Stephanie McClure and Liv has definitely had a little more heat to it. I feel like we've been building that up. And as far as the men's world title on SmackDown, I think that's going to really get a lot tonight. We'll decide what's happening with that, right? Because, you know, we got Randy Orton, who won the Elimination Chamber, and now he's set to go to WrestleMania. But tonight it's Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, championship match. And, you know, Drew said he had made it so Cody couldn't wrestle for the title anymore. He kept costing Cody. Nick says, the hell with that. You're going to defend your title one more time against Cody. He'll be on SmackDown, and we'll see who's going to Mania. A lot of talk is, of course, this could be Jacob Fatu getting involved, and we're going to see a 3-way, 4-way. So I am interested in that right now, but I'm curious to see what they end up doing. Like, will it just be Cody and Orton, or will it be, you know, a 4-way with a Jacob Fatu, or maybe even a Sami Zayn?
And how, like, when I envisioned this, I was thinking more about classic storylines. So what are some of your all-time favorite WrestleMania storylines going into Mania? Like, obviously, Hogan and Andre was big.
Yes.
I feel like the bloodline of the last couple of years, Cody and Roman, that had a good, 2-year arc.
Yes. Yeah, Cody and Roman, that's good. That's a great call. That's actually kind of underrated almost, right? Because when you think of the classics, you might not think of them, but that was long-term storytelling with Cody and Roman. I mean, Rock and Austin, right? Who ended up wrestling 3 times at WrestleMania. You know, you mentioned Hogan Andre, but when you mentioned Hogan Andre, I always think of Savage Steamboat, too. Like, that was the other match that kind of had people talking at the end of WrestleMania 3. And there was that long storyline where Savage dropped the bell on his larynx and Steamboat had to learn how to talk again. And, you know, that was something I'll always remember. The following
you bring up Savage, because for me it's Flair Savage that was big. The WrestleMania magazine that came out with the pictures of Flair and Elizabeth and how that really fueled everything going into that Mania.
She was mine before she was yours, Savage. Woo! Great stuff. Savage, though, WrestleMania 4, the following year, that tournament, after the Hebner brothers, one of them screwed over Hogan there at the main event where Andre, got the pin, rewarded the title to Ted DiBiase. They said you couldn't do that, so they had the big tournament where Savage won. I remember being very excited that there was going to be this tournament at WrestleMania 4 to crown a new world champion. And for the first time, we might get someone who wasn't Hogan or Andre, and we did. We got Savage, which I thought was pretty cool at that time as a kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of over the years as well.
Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon ladder match for the Tool Intercontinental titles, having both Intercontinental titles held up. That's another one that
was huge.
Owen
and Brett. Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well. That's probably another huge one from, when I watched earlier in life, and that really had me excited going in it. It's always like the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
How many feuds has Undertaker had going into Mania? Because he had the streak, but I don't know how many feuds really stuck out.
I don't know.
Being like that thing to pull you in.
Like when I think of some of his greatest feuds, like with Brock Lesnar, Kane, Undertaker and Kane had a great feud. It was at Mania. Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels. That was the beginning of the Austin era, where Michaels, lost the title to Austin. Austin and Brett before that, a couple years before that, had a great feud. It ended up being that fantastic match, which is the only match in the WWE Hall of Fame so far, that WrestleMania 13 street fight. That's always some good stuff right there. Bret Austin, Bret Michaels Austin, that whole time period. It's just like, you can't go wrong with those guys. Taker, like I said, not so much with feuds, even though he had the streak for the longest time. I think Kane is the only thing that really sticks out to me in terms of like legendary feuds, that ended up being matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I feel like Taker had like marquee matches. You might have had feuds coming out of it, because I feel like the streak ending with Brock really made something.
TLC matches, the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, those were always something to remember.
Yeah, that's another big one. And, WrestleMania is coming up quick on us. You talked about that one match being in the Hall of Fame. Big Hall of Fame announcement this week, and it's kind of years in the making, almost surprising it didn't happen sooner. Demolition is going into the 2026 Hall of Fame. I love this because when I was a kid, I remember them being like that standout tag team for me in the WWF. And like when the Road Warriors came in, having the Legion of Doom and Demolition in the same place, I knew about the Legion of Doom outside of there. So when I saw these two hard-hitting tag teams going at it, I'm like, this is crazy. But Bill Eadie, Barry Darsow, well-deserved. Where was your fandom of Demolition coming up?
Oh, yeah. Demolition was one of those teams I really enjoyed in WWF. Even though I was a big wrestling nerd, but this was before, obviously, the internet and stuff. But I do remember seeing the wrestling magazines and calling them Road Warrior ripoffs. But I just thought they were another cool team, and I really enjoyed them. And as heels, I kind of liked them still. But when then they became baby faces and they did the double turn where Powers of Pain became the heel team and they beat the Powers of Pain. And then just remembering like their tag title wins afterwards where they beat like the Colossal Connection of like Andre the Giant and Haku, or the Brain Busters, Tully and Double A. Like great feuds, great matches. And then when they put over the Hart Foundation and they lost their final run as champion and Crush was getting involved and Road Warriors came out and got crushed from under the ring at SummerSlam 90, I believe it was. Great. Watch SummerSlam 90. All right. Hart Foundation, Hart Foundation, Demolition, 2 out of 3 falls. Road Warriors are getting involved. That also has Mr. Perfect and Kerry Von Erich on there. And I want to say that might be Ravishing Rick Rude and Ultimate Warrior in a steel cage for the title. Great stuff. Let's get back on track here. Demolition in the Hall of Fame. John Pollock talked about this a little bit on Post Wrestling, and he talked about Bill Eadie in particular, who had a great career as the Masked Superstar before that, and arguably could have been put in the Hall of Fame just on that alone,
Yeah, for years that suit kept, I think, WWF from wanting to induct them, and Bill Eadie had that seafood reaction that,
yes,
action for a little while or shellfish reaction that kind of put Crush in the team, and I liked them as a two-piece. I liked them when they added Crush. It was the face paint. It was the weird getup. It was just the fact that they were hard hitting. And the older I get, I realize like how skilled they were as wrestlers. So like how much they deserve this place. Could we see like a Bill Eadie solo induction? Could we see a Repo Man induction down there?
Yeah, I mean, Darso, I mean, there's a guy, he had a couple gimmicks, right? He had the Crusher Khrushchev thing for a little bit. I remember that with the Nikita and Ivan and part of the Russian faction growing up as a kid. And then, of course, yeah, he comes in as Smash, later Repo Man, and Blacktop Bully with another WCW creation he had done for a little bit. I admired Darso for being versatile and being a great character wrestler, because here's a guy like no matter what the job was, he was going to give it his all and be different, right? Think Repo Man, Blacktop Bully, Demolition, and Crusher Khrushchev. Like those are some pretty different gimmicks. You know?
Apparently, these guys both had books come out recently. I would be interested to read both of them. Got to be very interesting stories coming up. And Saturday night is not only home to the local event, OWR Ledyard Middle School, 7:30 p.m. bell time now. But Saturday night, and Dave, I got to be honest, this one snuck up on me. NXT Vengeance Day.
Yes.
I've been not watching as much NXT as I'd like. I've definitely been keeping up with it. A lot of great stuff going on there. We talked about Vanity Project winning those tag team championships, but they've got a premium live event coming up. And I watched NXT this week, actually. It's the one thing I think I did check out. They're doing some great lead up to this event. Let's go down this card and give some predictions.
All right, we got Tony D'Angelo versus Dion Lennox in a parking lot brawl. I think this one is a safe bet that Tony D'Angelo is going to win this. He's coming back to go through Dark State, and I think eventually he might be in this NXT title picture. But in order to do that, he's going to have to beat Dion Lennox first.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They just the way they've been portraying Tony and his whole comeback has been great for him. I can't see him not getting the win here.
Blake Monroe versus Jada Parker in a street fight. Look, Monroe's been struggling a little bit lately in the booking. Like they had Theo Hale beat her again. And I feel like if I was looking at this, I would say both these ladies could use some momentum right now. I think Jada Parker's got a lot of people behind her, and we all know Blake Monroe's just a great character. However, my hunch is Jada Parker's going to win this because I'm thinking the reason why we're seeing Monroe, put some of these people over is my hunch is she's going to the main roster sooner than later.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think like she came in with big fanfare in NXT, and I feel like since then she's been all right, but hasn't been like anywhere near where you would have thought coming out of AEW. So I'm right there with you. Jada Parker's going to get the win. Hopefully Blake Monroe moves up, because if she doesn't move up, then she's just kind of like treading water in it.
Yeah, same. I feel the same way. Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, NXT Underground match. I did not like the way Kalani Jordan kind of beat down Shayna Baszler this week, but I get the point. We're putting momentum on her, but it's just to get you hopeful, or maybe not hopeful, but give you the idea that Kalani Jordan's going to go over. I don't buy it. Lola Vice, I think, is going to come back. This is her, the NXT Underground match. I think this is her thing, and I think Lola Vice wins.
Yeah, Kalani Jordan's great, but like Lola Vice has that fighting experience. The NXT, these Underground matches tend to be rolled out for people with fighting experience. While I wouldn't hate a Kalani Jordan win, I feel like Lola Vice is where this is going to go. So I got Lola Vice with the win.
Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, NXT Women's North America Championship. I think Tatum Paxley is a very interesting character. I think that they had something good going with her when she had the women's title that fans really seem to connect with her. My guess is she's going to be Izzy Dame, because I don't think they're quite ready to pull her all the way up yet. Although I wouldn't be upset if they did, but I'm going to say Tatum wins the North American Championship here.
Yeah, these two have kind of been going back and forth, and if Tatum's not going to have the main prize, then North American Championship is great. This is a feud that's been going a while. This is almost like an underrated match. I don't think it's getting as much hype as it should.
Main event, Ricky Saints, Joe Henry, NXT Championship match. My gut says that Joe Henry just got this title, so he's not going to lose it. But I keep thinking that Tony D'Angelo is interested in going after the NXT championship. So that kind of makes me wonder if he's going to go after Ricky Saints. And Saints has been part of that group there, with the guys from Evolve and Ethan Page. And I wonder if they're going to get involved and help Saints. I will say Joe Henry keeps the title, though. But this is the one I'm not quite sure about.
This is kind of funny because it really feels like a coin toss to me. Either of these guys could be called up to the main roster soon. Either of these guys could be NXT champions soon, at the moment.
We've agreed on everything. Maybe this is saying you should probably disagree with me.
I don't know, because Joe Hendry could lose the title to Tony D'Angelo.
Sure.
And I don't think it would take anything off of him. Ricky Saints doesn't need a momentum stopper like that. I feel like his momentum coming into WWE is already a little fucked up. It could be better for him right now. I would have seen him as NXT champion, keep it for a while, make the next guy move up to the main roster.
I'd still like
Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry will eventually lose it to Tony D'Angelo down the road.
I'd still like to see, I think it'd be kind of cool if Roy Stees, the former Powerhouse Hobbs, actually still joined Ricky and maybe the Vanity Project had Peter, like Hobbs.
Isn't that crazy that they have no plans for Hobbs after that debut in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, wild. And they keep showing clips of him and that emotional story of him growing up on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. It's like you put him in the Rumble and you keep advertising that. It's like, okay, so where is this guy? And I get that we got Obafemi coming up at the same time, another powerful type man, and you're trying to build things up here. Yeah, and the only thing I could think of, unless they're swerving us, and he's just going to come out and beat Brock Lesnar because Brock has that open challenge at WrestleMania, and they're going to super put this guy over. But I don't know. I feel like that's Oba's spot at this point.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that's going to work out, and that is NXT Vengeance Day. Dave, we got one more subject on board for the regular watchers, and if you see the title, you know what it is. But Danhausen made his debut at the Elimination Chamber, and from the moment he came in WWE, the thought I had is, will Danhausen succeed in WWE? Yeah. I'm thinking more, will this gimmick work in WWE? The reason I ask is because in my head, this is a very indie gimmick. It worked well on the indies. And if something works well on the indies, it usually transfers well to AEW. This kind of fell flat. He did things in AEW, but I wouldn't say this succeeded there. So do you see this doing better in WWE?
Hard to say. If you had asked me right after the Elimination Chamber, I said, oh, man, this doesn't look good. But they seemed to really bounce back Monday. It was almost two different responses. Everybody was shitting on this and hated this. I was just it's fucking stupid, but whatever. I'm not really that big into this thing. But then the next day, he's already on Twitter talking how he wants to talk to General Manager Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he sees Adam Pearce, and he's after that, ovation I got on Elimination Chamber, the third spot, I got some demands. I want to be in the Hall of Fame. I want a blip and all this stuff. And then he puts the curse on Dom Mysterio, who loses the title to Penta. And it feels like people just started turning around, in 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it was. It was they were oh, I love this guy. This guy's hilarious, And I think part of it is, they talked about this on Post Wrestling as well. It's he owned it. They owned it as a company. They owned the fact that the segment didn't go well, and they turned it around, and they got some stuff going right now. I think this can work. However, define that. Is it going to work long term? It's hard to bet on stuff like this because it usually doesn't. There's not many R-Truths and Orange Cassidys out there that can take something silly and keep making it work and work because they're so talented.
Yeah, and it's I'm not particularly a fan. Not that I hate it, but it's to me, it seems like it has a limited shelf life. It's good to a degree, but then it kind of peters out. And his strength isn't even in the ring. It's more as a character. Yeah. That's good for him because a character thing you could do for a while. It's just how do you keep it fresh? And I was thinking exactly like in R-Truth, it's probably going to be a comedy gimmick in WWE will it win over people enough, and will it have longevity? Apparently, he's selling a lot of shirts early and merch early. So that's a good start. But then kind of will it last the long haul? WWE is finicky sometimes about characters and especially about comedy things like this.
Send them to AAA with R-Truth. They can team up with Mr. Iguana, Trios champions, have them on all the shows, and ride out the wave for as long as you can do it.
That's not bad at all. And especially like just seeing a guy come up from the indies, make it to WWE, you're always happy to see that. But you kind of hope for the success. And
I mean, hats off to him to get this far. You know what I mean? We're not talking about like a huge guy. We're not talking about somebody who's like a Rey Mysterio or an AJ Styles. But here he is. He's done this gimmick and he's carried it on. Like now he's been in AEW. Now he's in WWE. So, hey, good for him for making it this far.
100%. And I'm going to say it again. Tomorrow night, March 7th, Ledyard Middle School, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Look at these matches. You are not going to want to miss this. Big ladder match. You've got former ECW star. You've got huge guys on the indies. Dustin Waller, I'm looking forward to seeing live. Vinny Pacifico, Soda Hendricks. This is going to be a great event. Come on out to Ledyard Middle School. See a great show. See us as well. And I'm going to throw it to author Ray Lopez.
Author Ray Lopez presents Lockup, professional wrestling in our world. Lockup dives headfirst into the colorful world of professional wrestling. Explore the iconic characters, careers, matches, history, and families, and delve into the bizarre and fascinating entwining of professional wrestling and film, television, football, politics, gender, and race. Pre-orders are available now on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com. This is the perfect gift for the wrestling fan in your life. Pick up a copy today on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com.